Oh, can you?
Yeah, there we go. That should work.
The aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different.
わざわざお越しくださり、誠に申し訳ないのですが、特にお話しすることはありません。
Man, he's not like 500 pounds.
No, he's not. He's a little less.
Nanjo's son spoke very indifferently.
あの島の事故がワイドショーなどで非常に不謹慎に取り上げられて以来、後宮氏の主治医であり友人でもあった父にも大変心外な関心が多数寄せられました。そのいずれもが何の根拠もなく、また父のそれまでの業績を汚すものでした。私はそれら全てについて未だ
無理もないことと思います。私も同じようなものですので、私など6つの時から延々です。
そうでしたね。これは失礼。
The doctor finally remembered that Angie was also a victim exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been.
そんなあなたなら当時の件にもう関わりたくないという私どもの気持ちもお分かりでしょう。あれは不幸な事故でした。それを事件だと騒ぎ立てたがるのは無責任なテレビと雑誌だけです。
See, I don't know how anyone could bring themselves to believe that however many people, 12 people getting murdered at the same time is just an accident.
Oh please, it was just an accident. They all just
It's just
they
a
all just
happenstance.
fell and tripped and hit their heads.
That was it. That's the story. We're sticking to it.
The end.
彼らの態度には心底うんざりさせられますよ。
Nanjo had been placed in the spotlight for being one of Ushiromiya Kinzo's new friends. Because of that, there had probably been a persistent offensive from the witch hunters in the press to use the late Nanjo's son as well as a source of information. Haha, witch hunters. The doctor went on, criticizing the press indignantly.
お気持ちよくわかります。私生活に至るまで監視を受け、プライバシーも肖像権も、果ては人権さえも認められてたかわからない私ですから、そのやり場のないお怒り、よくお察しできます。だからこそ、私の人生をここまで台無しにしたあの事件は一体何だったのか、それでここへ来ました。私もあなたと同じ当事者です。雑誌記者でもインタビュアーでもありません。そこを誤解しないでください。私は道楽でこんなところまで来たんじゃない。私を見下すのもいい加減にしてください。あの事件で狂わされた人生の傷跡比べをするならば、私とあなたでは比べ物にもならない。
Damn. I mean, she's not wrong. Angie spoke sharply. Never having imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, the doctor couldn't help but fall silent. From Angie's perspective, the doctor was whining about absolutely nothing. She really wanted him to pack in his patronizing attitude. It was about time to make him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he had misspoken and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable.
当時のことを思い出すのは苦痛でしょうが、ご存知のことがあったら何でも教えてください。もちろん口外はしません。私は私の人生に決着をつけるために、私は18です。あの事件は私の人生の12年を奪った。そしてこれからも奪い続けるでしょう。私は6歳のあの日からずっと暗闇に放り込まれたままなんです。そんな私でも知る権利がないとおっしゃるんですか？
いや、失敬。たちの悪い連中ばかりが来ていたので、私もつい身構えてしまったようです。失敬したのをお詫びします。わかりました。他言無用を誓っていただけるなら何でもお話しします。
ありがとう先生。ではお願いします。何でも結構です。話して。
知っての通り、父は後宮氏の主治医であると同時にチェスを通じた友人同士でもありました。その親交は後宮氏が六軒島に移り住んできた当時からのとても長いものでした。
どのくらい仲が良かったのですか？
相当だったようです。チェスの縁で 先方の屋敷に厄介になることも少なくなかったようです。私の口から言うのもなんだが、後ろ宮氏は非常に気難しい方でした。
No, that's pretty right of you to say.
そして父はそんな人間と付き合うのに長けた非常におおらかな人だった。孤独な後ろ宮氏にとって稀な友人であったことは想像に難しくないでしょう。
当日は親族会議でした。後宮家の親族会議は資産やその運用などについて厳しく問われるさながら経営会議のようなものだったとされています。そのような席にまで出席を求められるほどに南條先生は信頼を得ていたわけですね。
父は純朴な医師であり、後宮家のような富豪の財産運用について助言できるような立場にあったとは思いません。おそらく当時の後宮氏は健康状態が優れられなかったでしょうから、親友の父ならおそらく口も固く、親族会議上の秘密もきっと漏らさないと信頼されていたに違いない。
当時の後宮金蔵はかなり健康状態が悪かったのでしょうか。カルテが残っていたりはしますか。
事故の当日はカルテを持参していたのでしょう。後宮氏のカルテは残念ながらフォルダごと失われています。
Lost.
父のクラン家ですし、私も詳しいことは分かりません。
事件の前後、何か気になるようなことはありま
More
した
like burn in an incinerator.
Destroyed. Gone forever. I mean,
Probably.
how do we know that he even ever kept a file on him in the first place?
It's true.
You know, if they were good friends, maybe he would kind of not bother with that or something. I'm not sure.
あるにはあります。ですが、非常に誤解を招きそうなので、あまり言いたくはありません。
何ですか。それを教えてください。
For a while, the doctor beat about the bush. But after he'd said that much, Angie would not allow the subject to be dodged. Eventually, he was worn down, and after making Angie swear herself to secrecy again, he opened up.
実は、あの事故の数日後に、私の自宅に郵便が届いたのです。
郵便？
それはとても奇妙な郵便でした。差出人が私になっているのですが、それは身に覚えのないものでした。何者かが私の名を語って出したということです。宛先は北海道の礼文島。
Hokkaido.
北方領土の話を抜きにすれば、
Yeah.
日本の最北端
I've heard there's good hot springs in Hokkaido.
その宛先人がなんと礼文島の住所ではありますが、父の名前だったのです。
What?
Okay.
Wait. Okay. I gotta read this again. So something strange happened, and it was
That he got a letter.
he got a letter at his house.
The sender was supposedly him.
He sent a letter to himself, and
But-
the recipient's name was his father's. So he sent a letter to his father. What? But the letter ended up at his house, and he doesn't remember sending the letter.
And the address is for an island in Hokkaido. Or off of Hokkaido.
What in the fuck?
Did Nanjo escape? Or no, this is his son writing to him.
Yes, but his son received a letter from himself.
Himself.
That was directed at his father, but he doesn't remember writing a letter to his father. What?
Right.
The fuck?
Oh, this is a lot.
Okay.
Well,
Go
let's-
on. Go
Let's
on.
let's keep moving.
送付先住所が間違っているらしく、住所不明の付箋が貼られて、差出人である私のところへ戻ってきたわけです。
It was truly a strange tale. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had sent it using his name. The destination was Nanjo Teramasa on Hokkaido Island.
I get it. I get it. They wanted a letter, a return to sender thing. They wanted to send a letter anonymously to be sent back to him.
I see.
So they probably put the sender's address was probably not the son of Nanjo, and his home address, and the destination address probably wasn't important because all they wanted to do.
He wanted it to be sent back, right?
Yeah, whoever sent it wanted it to go to Nanjo's son. But why would they go through such a roundabout way of getting a letter, aka returned to sender, even though it wasn't returned to sender? But why would they go through such a roundabout way to get a letter to him rather than just shipping it to him via a random address?
If they're being watched, or if they don't have a lot of time, or actually that last one didn't make a lot of sense, but like if there's a situation that prevents them from telling the truth about something, you know, they could secretly kind of do it that way, or if they're in an area where nothing can get out. Well, we'll see. But the lot number written on it didn't exist, so the local post office had been unable to deliver it and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son.
中身は何だったんで
本当に他言無用でお願いします。私も非常に迷惑しているんです。かといって捨てるわけにもいかず。
The doctor stood up and headed for the bookshelf. There, dozens of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental were lined up one after another, asserting in the strongest way imaginable that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope was hidden behind them.
What is this bullshit?
And tossed it onto the desk. That's what Angie's thinking right now. It had been carefully sealed with adhesive tape, and its faded color and dryness told that it had remained sealed for 12 whole years.
Oh no, what is this gonna be?
くれぐれも他言無用でお願いします。
While emphasizing it so much it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a quality paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had weight to it, hinting that there was something other than a letter inside. What if it's the head's ring?
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say.
The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Even seeing that was a huge shock. After that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found and he was being treated as dead in absentia under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido. That's kind of like what I was hinting at earlier.
Oh,
but I don't think that's what happened.
南條先生は本当に北海道に存在を
It's a possibility.
あるいは同姓同名の人物が北海道に
父が何かの事情で事故を逃れ、北海道私たち家族にとっては事情に関わらず嬉しいことです。私も初めはその可能性を考えました。しかしこの封筒の送付先住所は存在しないのです。つまりこの封筒は届くはずのない郵便なのです。
送付者が正しい住所を書き損じた可能性は
もちろん否定はできません。ですが住所の番地を見る限りどうもそうは思えないのです。
北海道礼文島礼文郡礼文町 1-2-34-567
Up until Reibun City, it's alright. But I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that following sequential number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 was a little insincere.
It's a bullshit number. It's to get returned to sender.
Yep. It felt like a fake address that some kid had made up.
おそらく明らかに存在しない住所をデタラメに書いたのでしょう。この封筒は初めから存在せず届くはずのない住所に送付されたと考えるのが自然だと思います。
That's what we were saying. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of a faulty address, the local post office will often courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. It seemed that this was what had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked October 3rd. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima is a long way from Reibun Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was an extremely high chance that having this envelope returned to the sender after an indeterminate amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope was already veiled in mystery.
中身は？
どうぞ。
After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small folded letter and a small key with a number tag attached. A swipe card slid out in addition. A112 was engraved on the key's number tag. I didn't know what it meant. The swipe card was pitch black and had gold letters engraved on it. Members was written there in English. The jet black gold-lettered card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief, and only the following was written.
Oh, shit!
Oh! That's the one. That's the number. 0715-1129. July 15th, November 29th.
We
If we're
both
still thinking
freaked
about
out
the
there.
date. Yeah, we did.
Hold on. A112. A112. And
I have no
so there's inside the envelope a folded letter and a small key with a number tag. The number tag is A112, and a swipe card, which
that
is
says members written on
that
it.
says members, and that fucking date.
If we're still thinking it's a date.
That it's Battler's birthday. It's got to be a date, and then some other date.
Well, one of them is, yeah.
Yeah, those 7/15 is, and then whatever the November 29th is.
Unless it's an intentional misdirection.
I don't know.
You never know. In the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the words Central Branch. That was all.
これは？
貸金庫のカードと鍵、そして暗証番号でした。
The fuck is in the
それ
safe
も普
deposit
通の
box?
貸金庫で
What's in
は
the
ない
box?
特別な顧客のみに許されているらしい不気味な貸金庫でした。
Maybe the head's ring is in there.
Maybe it's the answer to the
Maybe
entire.
it's just the head. What if it's just Kinzo's head in a safety deposit box?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, no, 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 no.
After he had finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he visited the bank, PIN and key card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was stored there, and it was natural that he was curious about what that could be. At first, he didn't know what to do. The card wasn't properly his possession. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status and was guided to a large vault on the 4th basement floor. Security on the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as real estate transcripts in safe deposit boxes before, but this was something on a whole different level.
私の使っている貸金庫の手続きと違い、カードと暗証番号、そして鍵を持っているならば、本人確認は行われないというシステムでした。ですが、とにかく厳重な金庫室で、その物々しさに怯えました。こんなところに預けざるを得ない、どんな物騒なものが待ち受けているのかと。
Kinzo's head's just been rotting in there.
Yeah.
カードをリーダーに通すと、 暗証番号の入力を求められました。そしてそこにある8桁の数字を入力すると認証され、金庫室への入室が認められました。す
What did you
ごい
find?
光景でしたよ。
What did you
まる
find?
で SF 映画のような世界だった。
What?
薄暗い銀色の広大な部屋にびっしりと金庫の扉が埋め尽くされているのです。
A room of safes? Is it all the gold?
Saves. He entered that room along. Oh, that's a good. It could be. He entered that room along with the clerk. As soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were apparently determined, so that the safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one. Oh, okay. That sentence
A11 には
confused me for a
そ
second.
れらの金庫のうちの一つを示すものでした。
Okay.
ちなみにそれ以外の金庫にもずらりと緑ランプが点灯していました。20個以上はあったと思います。あるいは他の一角にももっとあったのかも。いずれにせよ私の鍵は A11 にのみ、他の金庫の中身を確かめる術はありませんでしたが。
As the clerk watched, the doctor unlocked and opened the safe. When he did, a safe drawer like a large cabinet opened, and an expensive-looking Duralumin case showed itself. That was carried into a separate room where, for the first time, the clerk left and he was introduced to the
中身
contents.
は
Oh, come on.
現金でした。
Just money?
現金どれほど？
新札の100万円の束はちょうど厚みが1センチになると聞いたことがあります。
20
それ
billion?
がこれだけのジュラルミンケースの中にびっしり詰められていたのですから、多分1億はあったでしょ
Oh.
う。数えたわけではないから分かりません。手すら触れませんでしたから。私はすぐに直感しました。これは危険な金だと。
It isn't normal to store a whole 100 million yen in cash in a safe like that, case and all. It's much easier to deal with if you deposit it into a bank account and turn it into a number. The very fact that they were unable to do that made it clear that there was something wrong with that cash.
私は頭が真っ白になり、すぐに関わり合ってはならないと直感しました。
それで一切手をつけなかった。
はい。そのまま施錠をし直し、元の金庫に預けて立ち去りました。この鍵やカードも捨てようと思いましたが、何が起こるかわからない。そのため誰にも内緒で12年もの間、本棚の裏に隠し続けてきたのです。あれが何の金だったのか、私にも未だにわかりません。
この封筒をお借りすることはできますか？
いえ、この場で見るだけにしてください。
わかりました。ではちょっと失礼します。調べ物を。
I took One-chan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. Then I opened the page with the paragraph Beitarichi had written to One-chan and compared the handwriting on both. The characteristic handwriting was unmistakable. The one who had sent this 100 million yen in cash was Beitarichi herself. But, what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What is it?
What's... Elaborate. What? Who are you?
Who is this?
Where are
郵
we?
便物が確か届いた気がしますわ。母ちゃん、あれはどこにしまったっけな。
The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasa.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
Kumasawa's son!
He...
He! Who had once lived with her. But he had been very busy in the days since and seemed to have forgotten about it amongst the hustle and bustle of everyday life. But apparently its strange contents had stayed in his memory and he remembered as soon as Angie told him. After a bit of a wait, his thin-lipped wife came with the envelope, complaining that he always forgets where he puts things. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was exactly the same as for Nanjo's son. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiyo.
The fuck is this
and the
shit?
destination address was in the Okinawa Prefecture. Okinawa Prefecture, Yaeyama County, Yonaguni City, 123415167. Yonaguni Island is at the westernmost tip of Japan. And the lot number was exactly like before, a sequential number that had apparently been chosen at random. Now it was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with the pin and the bank's central branch written on it. A swipe card. A key with an attached number tag. The inscription on the number tag was A113. The number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Najo's son. Most likely, inside the vault was the same kind of duralumin case. Is that how you say that? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think you're saying it right.
Duralumin. Packed with 100 million yen in cash.
死んだお袋がメイドから送ってきたような気がしてね。
Ugh.
中身もよくわからんし、薄気味悪いんで、ずっとほったらかしにしてて、今日まですっかり忘れてたんですわ。お嬢さんはこれが何かご存知なんですかね。ひょっとして、あんたんとこにも同じものが？
What?
Wait, they got one too?
どうしたんです、園児様。うりゅう、頭痛、頭痛。ご
Oh
めん、
shit. Oh shit.
頭が痛い。刺さってる。知っている。知ってるって何を？まさかこの封筒、園児様のところにも？
Yep. Apparently so.
I remember. A strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. I had fallen into depression after losing my entire family, but it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so faint memory of it remained. It was a strange letter which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as the sender. I forgot the destination address, but the person it had been sent to was Ushiromiya Rudolph, my father. I remember that I got this letter I thought was from my father who had died. I opened it up, and I found a key card and a card that I didn't really understand. I remember being very confused. I keep combining those two together for some reason. A key and a card. Not a key card. That I didn't really understand. I felt let down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? I probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now, I have no way of checking its contents. But somehow, I think I can guess. I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there must have been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope.
ベアトリーチェ、これは何のつもりよ。あいつは全ての遺族にこんなふざけた金をばらまいたというの？死んだ後も苦労するなんて許せない。
You know, this whole method of delivery is not very witch-like.
It's not.
It's actually very plausible and realistic for someone to be able to do in real life.
Yeah, a witch wouldn't have to send a random letter. They'd just make it appear in the mailbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Checkmate, witch.
Or they could just magically deliver the gold to their door, you know? Like, come on. Ridiculous. Baka baka shi. Sakataro acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off a bit. Bit by bit.
ごめんなさい。ベアトリーチェ憎しは今に始まったことじゃないわ。あの6歳の日に、もうすでにあの魔女と縁があったことに驚きと怒りを感じただけよ。
この12年間、園児様はずっとベアトリーチェ様の呪縛にとらわれてきた。これがそのまさに呪縛の証となるのかもしれません。ですが、どうかしっかりそれを打ち破るための旅でもあるはずです。
そうね。頭に血を上らせたって名の冷静に考えなくちゃ。これはどういうことなの？遺族に1億円をばらまく意味は何？挑発だとでも言うの？ チめ。
エンジ、落ち着いて。ウリュウ。
As Sakataro buried his head in my stomach, he urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking.
この封筒の送付はつまりベアトリーチェによる事件の計画性を裏付けるものかしら。
消印は親族会議の直前。
Okay.
そしてわざと時間をかけて返送されてくるように
Okay.
仕組まれている。
Yeah.
事件の後に届くようにしたかったということ。
うん、そうなるわ。でも少し疑問もあるの。なぜこんな不確実な方法で？
不確実？
Harder to trace. You know?
Mm-hmm.
ねえ、だって何日で郵便が戻ってくるかなんて事前には想像もできないじゃない。郵送先の郵便局が調査し、送付先不明と判断し返送するまでの期間なんて普通は想像もできない。
そういえばそうだね。ちゃんと到着の期日を決めてそういう郵便で出した方が確実なのにね。ウリュウ。まあでも前日に投函したんならどんなに早く戻ってきてもきっと月曜日以降の到着になったでしょうし、死者からの手紙を気取りたかったんじゃないかしら。
死者からの手紙か。確かにね。あれは驚くし嫌な気持ちになるわよ。死んだ家族の名前が表に大きく書かれている郵便物が物々しい付箋付きで郵便受けに放り込まれているんだから。でも私は何か腑に落ちないわ。私だったら期日指定郵便にする。ひょっとしたら想定しない日に届くかもしれないという不安定さが私にはどうしても理解できないの。
ウリュウ。でも確かにそういうのベアトらしいかなって思う。
え、あなたベアトのことわかるの？
ちょっとしかお話ししたことないけど、でもベアトならこういうことをするかなってのがなんと。マモンもなんとなく想像がつかない？ベアトってこういういたずら好きだよね。確かにそうかも。ベアドリージュ様なら死者からの手紙みたいな悪質ないたずらはやりかねないと思います。それだけじゃなくて絶対確実な方法じゃなくてちょっぴり不確実な方法の方をベアトリーチェは面白がるの。
不確実な方法を面白がる？
I remembered Maria Onechan's diary. It had quite a lot of descriptions of playing with Beatrice. Occasionally, some of these involved Beato playing pranks on the adult relatives with Maria. But those pranks always followed a certain little aesthetic principle of witches. Which was, that things are more fun if they are uncertain. One day, Maria Onechan had brought a wind-up minicar and she and Beato decided to use it for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time. If you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the spring in the tires, and when you let it go, it would race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it in the shadow of a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, Onechan and Beato had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing who would get caught by it, but ultimately no one moved the trapped milk jug, and the trap never went off. When Onechan had then muttered we should have put it somewhere where they'd definitely get caught by it, Beato apparently said this. She said, "Traps where you don't know who will get caught, or even whether anyone will get caught at all, are more thrilling and fun." It's probably true that you wouldn't get that kind of excitement from a trap that would definitely catch someone. This kind of description occurred in multiple places.
Wait. Sorry. I just something just hit me. Just thinking about this whole thing with Maria and Beatrice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a prank during one of the other family conferences, right?
I would imagine so.
Now, so are we assuming that on this island with the Rikenja murders, that every time somebody sees Beatrice, they're seeing the actual murderer just disguised as Beatrice, or for some reason they think it's Beatrice, but it's like an actual person? Is that what our theory is?
Yeah, right now, anyway.
So would that mean that Maria is imagining Beatrice, or is she seeing somebody? Because if it's the family conference, right?
Right.
Everybody that's gone to the family conference are the same people every year, except for Battler. Battler hadn't been in 6 years, but everybody else had been.
Yeah.
So if Maria's hanging around with Beatrice, perhaps Beatrice is one of the person that she's hanging around with isn't just this imaginary person, but she's actually hanging around with the same Beatrice that murdered everybody.
But she's only seeing her as
Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Because whoever was on the island, one of the 18 people, minus Battler, because it couldn't have been him, but one of the 18 people said that they were Beatrice to her, or pretended to be Beatrice, or Maria saw them as Beatrice.
Right.
And they played pranks together.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, they're making it seem like here, it would either have to be A, Maria's imagining just playing with imaginary friends, Beatrice, or B, Maria is actually seeing one of the 18 people as Beatrice.
Yeah.
One of those two things.
I'm leaning more towards B at this point.
She's seeing one of them as Beatrice.
Yeah.
And do you think it's the same person that's the murderer?
Yeah, I would say so.
Huh. So,
Hard.
one of these, by that theory, this Beatrice is the same Beatrice. Oh, God. Who is it, though?
I don't know.
And there's apparently enough clues, so whatever. We'll figure it out.
Alright. Here it is, John.
What?
This is the answer to Umineko.
You have it?
Maria is suffering from some kind of split personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Maria's other half is Beatrice. And Maria is the one who committed all the murders. I don't know.
That's very... You know, I don't know if you're half serious about this, but that's actually a very good theory, which I might buy into, except I think going by the whole message in the bottles that were sent out from the island, Maria wouldn't have been on the island at the time the messages were sent out.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is why I don't think it's her, but your whole thing about somebody's split personality.
Yeah.
Somebody's split personality is Beatrice.
You still there, John?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Nope.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hold on, we're lagging out.
I can hear you. Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Parsec just lagged out. I'm not sure what happened.
Huh, weird. I still heard you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you were saying, Johnny there, and you're like, oh, I guess we lagged out.
Yeah, the screen was frozen and I wasn't getting any audio from your side, so.
Weird. But yeah, as I was saying that, I don't think, I think there's definitely somebody whose split personality is Beatrice. The question is, which one of the 18 is it? And I don't think it's Mario or Battler, considering the things that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. We're gonna have to see where this handwriting thing leads us, though.
Yep.
A fickle person is very hard to deal with.
What's up, guys and gals? My name is Eclepid. John
Oh.
here.
What?
What just happened?
I have no idea.
I hit spacebar, but I think it did something else on your computer.
It's
with
oh
Matt.
crap! It's playing one of the YouTube videos on my other screen. I was like, why can't I hear my voice? Oh, here we go.
That's good. Okay. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't flip over the chessboard to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. As Angie thought these things over, her gaze wandered from place to place. Then she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, a number. Isn't that kind of a funny way to like phrase that?
I showed some interest in this wall.
Angie's really having a lot of interest for this wall.
More like the wall caught her interest.
Yeah, that's probably the better translation. There, a number of framed photographs were hung. Many were commemorative photos from when the Kumasawas got together as a family or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa herself was in many of them.
Ho ho ho, mackerel.
Hee! Still with a smile that made it so that you could almost hear her lighthearted ho 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 laugh. Ho!
Ho ho ho.
It's a distant memory, but I do remember that she was definitely this sort of cheerful old lady.
熊沢さんは事件の直前に変わった様子はありましたか？
いやー、いつも通りに見えたな。
Yo.
Yo. It's like he's yawning.
Yo.
親族会議はピリピリするから辛い辛いと漏らすのはいつものことでしたし。
これは？
Among the numerous frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it.
It was a big mackerel.
It was a photograph of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something.
What?
I couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some text had been written in pen.
ああ、それはお袋の形見分けで持ってきた写真ですわ。
The chapel?
Yeah,
Ha!
with the lions out in the front.
Yes. We're on the chapel with the lions.
多分例の黄金伝説に関係したやつではないかと。
魔女の碑文ですか？10トンの黄金の隠し場所を示すと噂される。熊沢さんも挑んでおられたんですね。でもこれは碑文じゃない。初めて見るものです。
There was an arch above the Western-style door, and that arch had a relief. It was an inscription in English, and that seemed to be the focus of the photograph. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese.
この扉は1000兆分の1の確率でしか開かない。
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
あなたは1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されない。知らないわ。こんな文章、碑文にもお姉ちゃんの日記にも出てこない。
お袋の遺品の中に碑文の謎解きに挑戦してると思われる写真やノートが結構出てきたんですわ。
Interesting.
お袋も案外そういうのが好きだったんだな。なんでも10トンの金塊が隠されてたって噂だ。
Or she just knew Kinzo was batshit insane and wanted to try and save her own life.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if she was into it so much as if she just wanted to, like, try and stay
そ
alive.
りゃあお袋も夢中になるはずですわ。
In both Mirio Nei-chan's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It mentioned about how it was a ritual to open the door to the Golden Land, and Beatrice's resurrection ritual, and Beatrice's succession ceremony, and so on. Maybe the most interesting one was at the last line, the succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only 10 tons of gold and the Ushiromiya family's inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch. Among the Ushiromiya family at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz, which the head Kinzo had prepared to select his successor. But in the mariage sorcière interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself, as she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. Either way, its disturbing contents brought to mind a bloody serial number, and both of the message bottles depicted a crime that followed that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seems that many witch hunters have been trying as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. Never heard of those. However, none of these theories were conclusive.
他にも資料が
あると思うけど、兄弟で適当に分けたからな。誰が何を持ってるやらさっぱりです。申し訳ない。
熊沢さんが撮影した英文だけ読むと、めったに開かれない開かずの扉という印象を受ける。
Oh, and if anybody knows what this kanji on that guy's shirt is, put it in the comments, because I've been looking at his shirt trying to figure out what that says, and I don't know. So, if you know what it says, let me know.
Could be a clue.
Yeah,
Anything could be a clue.
Anything.
光の具合から屋外みたいだけど、熊沢さんはこの中にその黄金が隠されていると睨んでたのかしら。
さあ、いずれにせよ六軒島の屋敷のどこかでしょうな。お袋の預金口座には残念だが黄金を発見したと思えるようなお金は入ってませんでしたよ。さすがに見つからんかったんでしょうな。
She never told him what's in the safe, did she?
No.
The Golden Witch, Beatrice, gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Ushiromiya family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans in Rokkenjima on that day, and sent large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced. My family, who died on the island that day, didn't die and go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. The last place Angie visited was a store in a region where residential and commercial areas intermingled, with a signboard saying, Marufuku Sleep Shop. Marufuku. There lived the man who had been the captain of the ferry boat to Rokkenjima at the time. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness, and was now being taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife.
よく覚えてる。あんたまだこんなに小さかった。
いいわい。
立派になったな。そしてさぞや辛かっただろう。お前さんの気持ちよくわかるぞ。
The former boat captain was so full of energy that you couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear, too. He had a good memory of things that had happened more than a decade prior, and it seemed that he could even remember how Angie had been at the time. The lively conversation was very helpful for Angie, but at the same time the captain also remembered the final family conference very well, and the fact that he had detailed memories of even Battler's gonna fall uproar on the boat was instead painful for Angie. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross to Rokkenjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make the voyage. I still hadn't managed to arrange for a boat to Rokkenjima, so if he refused me, the voyage to Rokkenjima would probably become hopeless.
わかってる。今あの島に行きたがる船なんぞ簡単には見つからんだろう。今じゃ六軒島と呼ばず古い名前の悪食島と呼ぶ者までおる。
Akujikijima?
Akujikijima.
Akujikijima. Should we look that up?
Akujikijima. I have a feeling if I look that up, it's probably going to be spoilers.
Is it gonna be a spoiler?
Probably.
Can we just look up what it means and not related to here?
There is. Oh, it's only an Umineko term. I looked it up, and all the links are related to Umineko.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
この辺りの船乗りじゃ首を縦には振るまいな。
Originally, Rokenjima had been feared as an island of disaster by the fishermen, and when that incident happened 12 years ago, that fear reached its peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokenjima, and were limited to taking a trip around the island.
Just fucking swim.
It's a pretty long way to swim. Ironically, this caused the mystique surrounding Rokenjima to increase even more, and resulted in the proliferation of the bizarre witch stories they loved so much.
船は出してもらえるでしょうか。
明日だけ返してもらう約束になっとる。最近はエンジンがだいぶかっ飛ばしてやるわい。
Oh yeah.
The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokenjima. With this, I'd managed to secure a method of transport to Rokenjima. This is probably all I can do on Nijima. All that's left is, tomorrow. On Rokenjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years.
よかったね。これで島へ行けるようになったね。
そうね。船を見つけるのは難しいと聞いていたから、船長が協力的で助かったわ。
園児様ほどではないにしても、船長にとっても12年前の事件は未だ抜けないトゲなんでしょうね。ウリュウ、船長さんも心の整理がつかなかったんだね、ずっと。そりゃそうでしょう。約束通り10月5日にあのじいさんが船を出してくれれば大勢が助かった可能性がある。ちょっと風が強いからといって船を渋らなければ。ウリュウ、そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ。船長さんもそれを今日までずっと苦しんできたはずだよ。
Yeah, it's not like the guy knew that that entire family was going to be murdered.
He's Bates
You know?
Richie, confirmed.
The boat captain has been the villain the whole time. Right in
Yes.
front of our eyes, we just never saw it. The bastard. I heard that it had truly been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they would be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rokenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very insistent upon that date, which had been determined beforehand as the date of the conference. It was only natural. All of the adults had their own packed schedules and had come to the family conference having arranged those schedules in advance. They probably had their own circumstances preventing them from easily pushing it back to next week just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault, but perhaps you could say that he didn't feel so guiltless that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two had said, there's no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And by taking me, the last member of the Yushiromiya line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for the past.
船は昼過ぎに帰ってくることになってる。それからあんたを六軒島へ案内するから、到着は夕方前になるだろう。電気も明かりもない島だ。
Hopefully he doesn't get caught by that crazy woman. You know who I'm talking about, right?
What crazy woman?
Kyrie's sister.
Oh, Sumadera?
Sumadera-san.
Yeah. She is crazy.
She's hot on their tail, isn't she? And the
Yeah.
boat's not coming back till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not good.
あまり長いはできんぞ。その程度の上陸で、あんたの気は済むかね。
長いしたから何かの気が済むという船を出してもらえるだけでも感謝します。
うん。すまんな。わしが船を手放していなければ、ケチなことを言わず、好きなだけ島へ案内してやれるんだが。
It's not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on the Rokenjima, so the time of day I'll be staying there is evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Well, Twilight, right? Wait. So, saying that evening or twilight is like a borderline between two worlds. Can we relate that to the epitaph at all?
I don't know. We can put it on. We can keep thinking of it. I don't know
Yeah.
anything that comes to my mind right now, but it sounds like something that might.
Might be important. Well, we'll stick it on the back burner. It's not like I'll be doing anything on the island. Staying there for just a few hours will be just fine if I can feel some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him I'd gotten hold of a boat for tomorrow.
それはよかった。そろそろ参りましょう。船長、明日はよろしくお願いします。
ああ、任せ。お前さんたちの難儀な事情も聞いとる。わしも当時のワイドショーを見ていて、面白半分に事件をかき回す連中に虫唾が走っとったもんだ。協力は惜しまんよ。
ありがとうございます。それでは明日お昼に。
Oh.
これ。
I remember. Oh, sorry, Angie.
Go ahead.
I remember the what I was gonna say. I read a comment from somebody I posted on the last video that said, somebody in the comment said, perhaps you should not discard the forbidden love between Kinzo and Jessica.
Wow.
I hope that's a joke.
Yeah, I really, Oh, that's so gross. Oh, no. Why would someone say something like that?
Anyways.
Angie took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain must have seen its thickness as well. Thick. But he paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head.
わしはお前さんに感謝しとるよ。これは天のお導きだ。あんたを六軒島へ連れて行き、そして無事に連れ帰る最後のチャンスをくださったんだ。わしは金蔵さんに任されていた最後の仕事を今ようやく終えることができる。だからあんたには感謝してる。
Finally be able to finish the final job Kinzo-san entrusted me with. Is he saying Kinzo told him he's gonna have to take Angie at some point?
I think he's saying like the final job that he was entrusted with was taking all of them to the island and taking them back.
Oh.
And like he never got to take them back, so he'll be able to take Angie to the island and take her back.
Well, he thinks that Kinzo told him to do that, but I mean, Kinzo would have known all along that they were going to be sacrificed, so
yeah.
I guess he's only saying that because he doesn't know what happened on the island, so he's just assuming that everything was normal.
金は当時の金蔵さんからたらふくもらってる。あんたから取れんよ。
ありがとうございます。
階段足元に気をつけてな。急だぞ。
I am
I went
on
down-
edge right now. I feel like is her name Kazumi Sumidera?
I think so.
I feel like Kazumi's gonna just show up out of nowhere. But anyways,
There's definitely going to be some bullshit.
sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine.
Gotcha.
I went down the steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there had actually been a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store with many futons piled up on each other. The captain followed behind us as we weaved our way through the crammed futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
孫の部屋が空いとる。泊まって行っても構わんのに。見ての通り、布団なら有り余っとるぞ。
ありがとうございます。万一の時、ご迷惑はかけられませんので。
事情は知らんが、相当な厄介に巻き込まれてるようだな。うさんくさい連中が人探しをしていると噂になっとる。あんたのことじゃないのかね？
さ。
Angie played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
わしは六軒島を目指す客人を送り届け、そして迎えに行き連れ帰ることが仕事だった。その仕事を12年前に中断したまままだ終えてない。だからわしはあんたのおかげでその仕事をようやく終えることができるんだ。だからわしにその仕事を終えさせてくれよ。分かってるな。
ええ。別に私は死にに行くんじゃない。
But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I would surely be able to go to where my family is. I had finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way heading for Rakenjima in search of a place to die.
Well, that's happy.
Yeah. You know. Just sounds like a normal Tuesday. The boat captain had guessed that as well. And so, for emphasis, he told me again, don't.
ええ、死にます。約束します。そもそも私、どうして六軒島に行かなくてはならないのかの目的さえ。
いや、目的はきっとある。あんたにないなら、それは彼らにあるんだ。島があんたを呼んだ。だからあんたはここまで来たんだ。
そうかもしれませんね。私は呼ばれたのかもしれない。
I was called. For what reason? For them. Mom, Dad, Battler Oni-chan, Maria One-chan. Or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What does Rakenjima have for me? What will I achieve? Even though tomorrow was almost upon me at last, I still wasn't able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard.
それでは明日、失礼します。
I got past the stacks of futons in the narrow store and was about to go outside. Just then, my feet stopped.
What?
Here we go!
Oh, my
どうしたね。
ears.
あれは
あれはて、何の話だね。
Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That means... That means...
ありえない。どうして。ウリュウ、エンジェ、どうして。どういうことなのこれは。
私にだってさっぱりだわ。そんなバカなことってあるの？これは魔法なの？奇跡なの？ええ。多分これは運命よ。私は今理解したわ。これが私の使命だったのよ。
ウリュウ、私には何が何だか。
I was frozen in position, shaking, pointing to the semi-darkness inside the store.
What is it?
どうしたんだね。何があるんだね。
Kawabata wants to know too.
わからん。わしにはわからん。あんたには何が見えてるのかね。
ありがとう、船長。
What is it?
全部これは運命だったんです。ここに私が訪れることさえ運命だ。これが私が六軒島へ行く目的で使命なんです。
エンジさん、どうしました？トラブルですか？
わしにもさっぱりわからん。お嬢ちゃんが暗がりを指さしたまま固まっちまったんだ。
The fuck is it?
エンジさん、大丈夫ですか？何が見えるんですか？
あなたたちには見えないの？それよ、それ。見えないの？
Is it?
見えるのはただの
Say what it
陳列なんで
is!
す。
Wait. Display case.
What's in the box?
誰も言いやしませんぜ。
ウリュウ、エンジ、僕には何が何だかわからないよ。これは夢なの？魔法なの？どういうことなの？エンジ。
Sakatara lifted his face towards Angie. From her eyes slid a single
エ
tear.
ンジ様。
理解したわ。お姉ちゃん。そして、ベアトリーチェ。
ウリュウ。
What?
So this is magic.
What? What do you see? Motherfucker!
No. No. No, they didn't just... Are you fucking kidding me?